The following program is presented by the HTM Podcast Network.
Welcome to another episode of Turnbuckle Talk in partnership with thechairshot.com, presented by the Hitting the Marks Podcast Network and in association with NJPW.com. Turnbuckle Talk is sponsored by collarandelbowbrand.com, where you get 10% off when using promo code JKPodcast. Turnbuckle Talk is also partnered with Phoenix at FNXFit.com, where you get 15% off all your health supplements simply by using promo code TBTalkPod. Follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by searching at TB Talk Pod. Listen on Podbean, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere you catch your favorite programs. And now, pro wrestling fanatics, are you ready? Here are your hosts, Mighty Joe Morin and Karl Karufel.
That is right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode here. I am Karl Karufel alongside the curator of topics, Mighty Joe, and welcome to Turnbuckle Talk.
Absolutely, man. Another week has come and gone, and we're here to talk some more professional wrestling. But before we get to that, hello to Matthew in our chat. How's it been this past week, man?
This past week has been a week, I'll put it that way. I did the day shifts, which are 12-hour day shifts. So, I mean, sometimes they can be a little bit tiring, a little bit draining, but I was able to get through them all and made my way here to a day off and being able to do Turnbuckle Talk.
Interesting that you mentioned day shifts, because to peel the curtain back a little bit for myself, I'm actually going to be moving to day shifts myself, ending with my previous employer, moving over to day shifts during this following week. And what's going to be interesting, Karl, is this is going to be a busy week for Mighty Joe, because not only doing Turnbuckle Talk and Turnbuckle Rewind with you, I've got a whole week of love wrestling. Thank God, Karl, I love wrestling to do love wrestling.
Right.
So some pretty cool stuff there. It's going to be every single day of the week, and I just hope that it's all good content for for the first time, and I can't remember when. It's interesting that you're wearing the shirt. I'm going to be actually watching and reviewing Monday Night Raw tonight as well. So interesting, and I just hope that it's good.
I knew you were, and that's the reason why I wore the shirt, because I'm like, Raw is war, damn it.
Yeah, man.
And Mighty Joe is going to be watching Raw? Wow.
Yeah. It'll either be good or it'll be a spectacular failure, but we'll see how it goes. I do miss
failure.
that Raw is War logo. That brings back some fond memories of when Raw was the thing to watch at that time. And I miss those days. But
maybe this is a good sign then, wearing this shirt. Maybe that means that something good will actually happen tonight.
A miracle. Let's hope a miracle happens. But having said that, let us get to modern day here. An interesting thing here, Karl. Now, this has essentially been debunked. You know, it was obviously fake social media accounts and whatnot, but there was quite the big rumor out there. There was even a graphic done up by whoever did actually a pretty good job on it, that Cena was going to be returning in a couple weeks to either Raw or SmackDown or what have you. Like I said, debunked. We know pretty much for a fact that it's not happening. But I thought we'd kind of explore it anyways, Karl, because I mean, it's a topic that we've explored before, but it seems pretty topical now. I mean, even Karrion Kross has kind of called him out, saying that he's a match that he's somebody he'd want to have a match with at some point. Sure. What do you think, Karl? Is would the WWE see kind of a resurgence not only in viewership, but just a kind of general interest with this man back in the company? Because for myself, yes. I mean, because he's always generated a buzz whenever he comes around.
Just like the title of this episode here says today, does the universe need John Cena? Now, I don't think they need John Cena. Could they benefit from John Cena? You're damn right they could. Yeah. John Cena is still that name. As much as people hate to say it, John Cena is still that name like Hulk Hogan, where if Hulk Hogan were to go and do absolutely anything, people know. And if Hulk Hogan makes a return to the WWE or any professional wrestling company for that matter, the word is out there, people know, and it is a high-profile situation. Same thing nowadays with John Cena. Whether he's out doing a movie, which I know that he was out in Vancouver doing, what is it, Fast 12, 16 24,
18,
something like that.
I think they're going into space this time.
Okay. Fast Odyssey, Space Frontiers 15, whatever it is. But yeah, he was out there doing that, and I know that he does have more movies that are going to be coming up. So because of those, we kind of know that John Cena really isn't going to be able to come back and do anything full-time with the WWE at all at this point in time. But could it boost the ratings if he were to come back for a few shows? You're damn right he could. Damn right.
If nothing else, just for the cross promotion. Not only does it benefit the WWE having, still one of their marquee names back, it benefits the movie as well. We would see viewership not so much in the theaters these days, but with streaming services and what have you, iTunes and that kind of stuff. I mean, most new movies that comes out in theaters, you can watch them for, I think it's like $25 Canadian on through Apple TV or iTunes. And but yeah, I mean, just it's interesting though, because it's in what capacity do you use him in? I think if nothing else, just to get that big pop at the beginning and to kind of just go out there and just do John Cena things. I don't think you necessarily need to use him in matches, but if you do, I will caution them to do it sparingly. Like I think there's a handful of people that I'd like to see, with Karrion Kross. I think that's definitely an interesting one. And there's a few others. I mean, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but it's an interesting move. And like I said, I think it benefits both sides. To use John Cena in an actual wrestling capacity, no, I don't want to see that. No. I really don't. Okay. So, I mean, John Cena, yes, I mean, he can work inside that ring. We all know that. No matter, his later days, we know the 5 moves of doom and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. We freaking get it, okay? But we've seen him in the ring with like the likes of The Undertaker, where he has actually put on a good matchup. So we know that he definitely can. But do I want to see that? No. What I would love to see is John Cena to come out at the beginning of the show and interrupt somebody, okay? That's what I want to see. I want to see him interrupt somebody who's out there who is possibly vying for a championship match, okay? So he's going to come out there and go, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I support you. I'm going to put my name and my stamp on you, right? And then you have it come full circle to the end of the show where now this person is, wrestling in a number 1 contenders match or something like that. And then John Cena makes his way out there and necessarily doesn't assist with the win, but helps in some sort of way to allow this person that he's put his stamp of approval on to win that matchup. Yeah. So
you answer this question here.
A few things here, because there are some great points here. For me, I think to address Chris's question of which version of John Cena you use John Cena. You just use John Cena. Again, we don't need to. And I've been guilty of this myself, and we have it on this podcast of having the discussion, do you turn Cena heel or not? He's somebody that you generally do not need to worry about that, because based off of where you go, the reaction is always going to be mixed. So he's a guy that it's not even fair to call him a tweener, just he gets a reaction that's different from most other people. He's a very polarizing individual. And then Chris also mentioning Braun or Drew, I would have to say no to both of those because I think both of them, they don't need the Cena rub at this point. They've gotten over just fine on their own. I think Cena, I don't think puts them over the top. I think that they're already where they kind of need to be. Just my opinion. I think if you bring Cena in, Karl, you use him to almost kind of be like a disruptor. Like you could literally have him just like cause shit between two guys, and he could be the kind of guy to like kind of lure two guys to have a match together. You could be like, hey, did you know that so and so said this about you? And you have him be kind of John Cena-esque in that way, and just be that shit disturber to do something like that. I think that would work.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right?
It definitely could work. Yep. I've always enjoyed Cena, especially when he would clown The Miz and Roman. Ryan, you're right.
That's what I'm hinting at, right? You have him be that kind of disturber, right? So,
shit,
Chris saying, do you bring him in and have the Fiend again? Maybe.
I would enjoy that, to be honest with you. I would.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
That could be something too. But yeah, we'll see. Time will tell. I'm not sure when this movie is set to come out, but I think if they're going to do it, I think they would have to pull the trigger necessarily pretty soon on it before Fast and Furious in Space or whatever it's called premieres. And like I said, it's mutually beneficial to both sides. So I think it would be foolish for both parties to not do this. You're literally leaving money on the table at this point.
Right, exactly.
So I'd say do it. I am all for it.
Which, unfortunately, we know that the WWE has done before. We'll take the Grammy Awards, for instance, right? With sure. Bad Bunny. They should have had Bad Bunny go out there with the 24/7, 365, I-95 championship that,
Yep.
Like, he should have gone out there. He was holding it at that time. He should have gone out there with it. And that would have been amazing cross-promotion.
Yeah. Not the biggest fan of his, but that definitely would have been definitely a smart move.
It would have been epic.
Sure.
Yeah.
And our friend Bubba Duke down low here saying, John's not coming back anytime soon. I hope you are incorrect, sir. I hope that he comes back. At least have him do a month-long run of just being the disruptor, John Cena, and I will be very much happy with that.
Sure.
Ryan saying Cena versus Diesel at WrestleMania. Wow. I think many quads would be torn there, sir.
No, Vin Diesel.
Oh, is it Vin
Not
Diesel?
Diesel.
Oh.
Vin Diesel.
I didn't see Vin. I didn't see the Vin part. I was going to say Cena versus Diesel. Nah.
No, Cena versus Vin Diesel. You know what?
Maybe.
I could actually see that.
That might be interesting.
I really could.
Yep.
And I think I honestly, I think I would be okay with that.
Yeah. Yep.
I would be.
Yep. It would. You would have to tread carefully because because it's been a while. Like I'm always kind of seen as a celebrity and forgetting. Hey, remember this dude was a wrestler.
Right.
So if you are going to do it, I'd like to see the similar approach to what you did with Stephen Amell and Christopher Daniels. If you could do something similar to that, then I say yes. Otherwise, I say tread carefully because whenever you have wrestling matches with celebrities, it can be really hit and miss. Recently they've been more good than bad, but we'll see. Time will tell. It's way too early to kind of do stuff to predict about this, but we can always speculate.
Could. We've got Don coming in here saying he'd pay to see that.
Yeah.
To see John Cena versus Vin Diesel. Yeah. And then Chris Cortez, and I'm pretty sure he's right. There were plans for The Rock and Vin Diesel
I think so, yeah.
At one point to get in the ring together and have a match. So, yeah, I think it's very possible that we could see at some point Vin Diesel inside of that ring. And if against John Cena, I'm okay with it.
Yep. Interesting.
Yep.
And then you could always use The Rock too and stuff if you want to get crazy, right? So,
yeah.
All right, man. Well, let us venture briefly away from WWE. And Karl, just when we've all thought we've heard the last about COVID-19, something inevitably kind of continues to come up here in Canada. The cases and the deaths are kind of ramping up, especially in Alberta and BC and those kind of places. But over in New Japan, unfortunately, and I definitely mean unfortunately here, we've essentially had 9 wrestlers test positive for COVID-19, which really, really sucks, for lack of a better term here, Karl, because I think more than any other promotion in the world, New Japan Pro Wrestling really relies on the gate for these shows. And what I mean by that is ticket sales for people actually coming in person to watch, because they've been doing it. They've had fans back for a while now. And this sucks because there's been some shows that are canceled at this point, which is a real bummer. They're obviously not in trouble as a promotion, but this still sucks because there are some really good shows upcoming that are essentially nixed now. They're canceled. And as somebody who, I don't watch a ton of New Japan, just given what's been going on lately, but I do watch enough, and it's disappointing to kind of see this happening because they were just starting to pick up steam again. So it's again, it sucks.
It definitely does. I have very polarizing views on this whole situation, and yeah, I'll put it out there right now. I'll even go conservatively, the 98% survival rate of catching this COVID flu, we're making a pretty big deal out of it. And because we've been making a big deal out of a 98%, it's actually more, but a 98% survival rate, we're now losing out on professional wrestling, which frickin' sucks.
Yeah, and I have to give props to New Japan because they've been doing it right. They've been doing a lot of testing and spacing apart people the way they should be, and it's like it still doesn't work. It's unfortunate, and I just hope that it's one of these things, man, where it's just like I feel like we're just kind of reporting what's happening, and it's so frustrating to have something like this just kind of be completely out of our hands. I mean, we can voice opinions and concerns and be conspiratorial or not, and it really doesn't affect it at the end of the day. It's all it's resulting in is we're seeing less of one of the best wrestling promotions in the world right now, which again sucks. It really, really sucks.
It does. And I just want to put out there, I'm not being conspiratorial at all. I can't spoke today. I mean, those are actual numbers.
Yeah.
They keep saying, believe the science, trust the science. Those are the numbers that the science is giving.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it suck? Yeah, you're damn right it sucks because some amazing frickin' professional wrestling, we're not going to be able to watch it right now. And so we're stuck with world's worst entertainment. So
yeah, well, we'll see. Time will tell, and hopefully they can bounce back and get back to business as usual. But all we can do is sit and watch, unfortunately. But we shall see.
Or not watch because we can't.
For sure. Ryan making a point here. AEW, please bring down Ospreay and the Americans in New Japan to wrestle. Unfortunately, they're probably stuck in Japan at this point. Otherwise, I would definitely agree with you. They're probably stuck there and just probably still getting paid, but not getting a chance to do what they do is love wrestling, and they just don't get to do it, unfortunately. Yeah. So we'll see, man. Let's move on from this and let's talk some contracts, Karl, because there's a couple significant, one's their contracts up in the air, and one we don't necessarily know where she will land at some point. But let's start with Moose first here, Karl, because his contract with Impact Wrestling is very soon going to, Matt's saying world's worst entertainment. His contract is going to be up really soon. And so I figured we'd kind of bounce back and forth and maybe even get the opinion of some people in the chat here of where we would like to see Moose go next. I'll go first on this one here, Karl. And if I have to pick, obviously my first pick would be to go see him make a run through the G1 over New Japan. I mean, there's so many good matchups with like Shingo and Suzuki and these guys. I mean, Tanahashi. I mean, Moose would be amazing against all of those guys. But given what we were just talking about, that could possibly be up in the air. So having said that, my next choice would be Ring of Honor. Because, I mean, there's stuff you could do with so many people there. It would be absolutely fantastic, specifically like a Shane Taylor, whether you want to match him up with him or have matches against him. Those two guys would absolutely bring the building down around them in a match, whether they're working together or wrestling against each other. That would be my pick of where I'd like to see Moose go, either Ring of Honor or a New Japan being kind of up in the air right now. I would then say maybe Major League Wrestling, MLW.
So my question is, when Moose's contract ends, has he said that that's it? He's done with Impact?
We don't know yet.
Okay, so my choice then,
For him to stay.
I want him to resign.
No.
Resign and stay with Impact.
Always
He's
an
doing
option.
great stuff there right now.
It's always an option.
He is doing amazing stuff there right now. It's because of Moose that we got back the TNA World Heavyweight Championship belt, had this amazing collaboration and feud going on, which amalgamated the Impact and the TNA Championship into the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship.
Fair point.
Like,
Yep.
yeah, and that was all Moose.
Yep.
So let's have Moose continue because he needs retribution.
Yep. And back briefly, I can't remember if it was on the Sunday brunch with Love Wrestling or where it was I brought it up, because we were speculating about Daniel Bryan as well and where he could go end up. And I'm like, what could also be the potential too is that Daniel maybe not re-sign with World's Worst Entertainment, maybe possibly just be like on a handshake agreement to just kind of do what he wants and just wrestle the occasional match or something. That is always a possibility. Always the speculation, of course. At the top of the list right now is AEW. AEW. If anybody's going to be released from anywhere, it's all they're going to go to AEW. It's like ad nauseum now. It's not to the point yet where I'm getting tired of hearing it, but it's frustrating that everybody always picks AEW. Dude, that roster, like I wish I could go through and find out everybody that's there. It's a really bloated roster at this point, and they just need to focus on using who they have right now and then go from there. But yeah, for me...
So Don weighed in.
Yes.
And now Ryan's weighing in.
Awesome in MLW. I agree.
See? Yeah. And he's got a very good point there. Start a stable with King Mo and Leo Rush.
Yep. That's a good
That
one.
would be epic too. It definitely would be.
Yep. Very much so. So yeah, we'll see what time will tell with that. And again, another guy that I guess maybe outside of Raw or SmackDown, he could shine wherever he goes.
Oh yeah.
Wherever he goes. Next up, the she that we're talking about is Tessa Blanchard here, Karl. Her status still seems to be kind of up in the air. It's been a while since she kind of left the ranks and Impact there. Of course, I mean, at the top of everybody's list, again, AEW or WWE. Do you see either of those as a possibility, or do you put her somewhere entirely different?
I think she's already somewhere entirely different.
Mexico, is it not? No? Where do you...
No.
Where?
I'm pretty sure she's working with Women of Wrestling. She's working with WoW.
Interesting. A good choice.
And I don't think that it's really an on-screen type of situation right now. But I'm pretty sure that she's working in the back right now with WoW.
Yeah,
that's only from little bit of research that I've done.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's where she's kind of ducked into and is hiding out right now. Is at WoW.
It's interesting with her because I mean she has the name, she has the pedigree, she has that. But one thing that Tessa Blanchard also comes with here, Karl, is a lot of baggage and a lot of heat. A lot of the girls, not just in the WWE and other places in Impact, but across the board, she has a lot of heat and she's rubbed a lot of the other girls the wrong way, which makes it very difficult for her to land anywhere. Like if I had to pick off the top of my head, I would say the Women of Wrestling is definitely a good place, especially even if she wants to wrestle on screen. Other than that, I'd say Ring of Honor or NWA. I think there she can still kind of do her thing, but be kind of below the radar a little bit. Ryan here saying that her feud with her feud with Santana Garrett was awesome, and there was legitimate heat there as well between the two. Which again kind of rules out the NXT option there. So
yes.
But yeah, man, it's a tough thing to pick with her because she's somebody like that I want to like, and I know she's got a lot of talent, but there's been some unfortunate kind of stuff that it's really hampered her from kind of rising to real prominence. And it's a shame because I think she could have, but it just, due to all kinds of things, it just hasn't panned out for her, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And even, I think the one thing too, I think putting the Impact World Championship, I think that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way too. So you have that to boot on top of the heat and all that kind of stuff. It's unfortunate because she's a Blanchard. I mean, her dad was one of the best, and she was even trained by Magnum TA and top-notch training, and it was absolutely fantastic. But just it's a weird situation with her, and it's a shame because she could have really. WWE is tough too, especially given new releases now, and I mean that's a whole other thing we can talk about as well. Like, did we on Turnbuckle Talk? Did we even talk about the thing with Eva Marie?
Because it happened that night.
Yeah, it happened like right after. Like in typical Turnbuckle Talk fashion, there's always stuff that happens right after we do the show. It's actually been a while, but that's something that happened right after, and we might as well mention it briefly, man. Just so your thoughts on it. What do you think? Like after getting rid of, like, especially Chelsea Green and Mickie James, you hire Eva Marie back.
This is something that's been in the works for a while.
Yeah.
And after WrestleMania, there's always releases and there's always new or returning faces that come in.
Mm-hmm.
It's the life cycle. It just happens.
Yeah.
It's the way it is.
Yeah.
You don't like it? Don't watch. That's all.
Yep.
You unhappy about it? Don't watch. That's all.
Yep.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
It's still going forward. You could have, 14 million people all message the WWE and go, you need to bring back Mickie James and get rid of Eva Marie. The WWE is going to go, ha ha ha, we know what you want. This is such good shit.
Yep.
We're going to keep Eva Marie. They're not going to care.
Yep.
So show them that you don't care by not watching the product.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to have your biggest impact. Step away from the keyboard and just don't watch that product. That's it.
Yep. For me, my opinion on the whole thing is, I'll give her a chance because we don't know if she spent that time actually trained to get better in the ring. Because for me, that was always the issue with her. I mean, obviously she's got the look, she's got that down pat. I mean, obviously, speaking from a male heterosexual wrestling fan standpoint, she's very easy on the eyes. You can't deny that aspect of it, and I give her credit for that. The issue has always been the in-ring work, and that's why I think some of us are kind of bitter. You got rid of like two of the better in-ring workers in Mickie James and Chelsea Green to then go with somebody who is inferior in that respect. And I think that's where the timing of it too is something that's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Having said that, we'll see how it kind of goes. I mean, some people are saying, "Oh, it's good because she's got heat." And it seems like she's getting that reaction, but I think it's being misperceived as like wrestling heat as opposed to go away, we don't want you heat. Like genuine, like you genuinely suck and we don't want to watch you type of heat, right? That's where I think it's more kind of generating. But again, time will tell. I'm hoping that she's actually put in the work and actually gotten better in the ring, because that's great. If she comes back and she's good, then I'm all for it. But if she comes in and you can tell that she's just just out there going through the motions, then I'm not going to be a fan.
And then just don't watch.
There you go. Right? There you go. All right, man. Well, I guess, what are we at? We're at about 27 minutes. So you know what? Let us take a bit of a brief break here and hear from our friends over at Collar and ElbowBrand.com, and then we will come back with breaking news, match of the week, and we'll follow up with our Showstopper segment. So here we go.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
The dictionary defines hero as a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. Being a hero in life is far more than words printed on a page. It takes an unwavering code, a compass that points true north, always. And in times like these, it takes sacrifice. Hero shouldn't be a word defined by a dictionary. It's a word that should be defined by the best of us. Hero has a new definition.
All right, Mighty Joe and Karl Karufel back here on Turnbuckle Talk. And as you just heard from our friend Al Snow, if you use promo code JKPodcast over at the checkout over at collarandelbowbrand.com, you'll get 10% off your entire order, including if you want to get the exact same hat that Karl has there, as well as just a ton of great merchandise still over there.
Yes. Now, we do have some fan interaction going on here, and I want to get to this real quick before we continue to move on. I am super excited to actually talk about this, and I'm glad that somebody here has brought it up. So, my friend Chris Cortez, have either of you watched the A and E biographies, and any thoughts on them? I'm just going to run through these super quick here. Okay, so Don chiming in the chat going, watch them. Trust me, you'll like it. Yes, they are great. Chris saying that he is really impressed with them so far, and the Randy Macho Man Savage one was good. He hasn't watched the Booker T one yet. Chris, I have not watched the Booker T one yet either. I have watched the other ones. I'm very excited though for next week's, which they have released on. Oh, the treasure hunts, WWE's Most Wanted Treasures, they have released on there that Shawn Michaels will be the next biography next Sunday on A&E. Watching both of those shows, the WWE's Most Wanted Treasures, as well as the biographies, I have been super happy with all of it, only because it's putting a limelight back onto professional wrestling on another platform.
Right.
A&E, Arts and Entertainment.
Absolutely.
A&E, the channel, is running these. And A&E has been famous for their biographies that they do. Probably one of the greatest, and I know that Mighty Joe will agree, is the one that was done on Andre the Giant. Yeah. Absolutely love that documentary that was done. And I know that Mighty Joe, there it is, has it. Is super fantastic. I'm a documentary person. I love sitting down and watching documentaries. And to see these ones being centered around professional wrestlers that I love, that I've grown up with, that I have idolized through my 40 years of existence on this planet. Almost 40, not quite yet, in August.
Getting there.
I absolutely love it. Mighty Joe, I've talked a lot about this. What are your thoughts on that quick topic?
And our friend Don saying very cool, and even so cool, he spelled it with a K, folks. Absolutely
That's
fantastic. Right. For the I almost said AEW, for the A and E biographies, they're in my queue to watch. I actually haven't watched any of them yet, but they will. I will be watching them soon, and we'll maybe even possibly next week or the following week, maybe kind of review them briefly on the show, because I definitely want to talk about them, but I want to do it once I actually get to sink my teeth in and actually watch them and sit down and actually watch them. So very soon, Karl and I will be talking in depth about those. We may even spend a whole episode just talking about those, because there's just so much good stuff there to cover. And the majority of what I've heard about them so far has been very, very positive. So, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has been. All of it has been positive from what I have seen so far. Yeah. I just put this out there for you, Matt. Hit me up on Messenger, and we can discuss a good way for you to watch them. Yeah,
for sure.
Because you definitely need to.
Yeah. All right, man. Let us do some breaking news. So not a ton of breaking news, at least on my end of things here. I'm hoping Karl's got some stuff, but the only kind of interesting thing that I saw during my weekly rummaging of even the dirt sheets and the mud stuff, I kind of comb through those a little bit too. The one that kind of stood out to me was we're still talking about this trash bag business of former WWE talents receiving trash bags. And Renee Young kind of talked a little bit about this too. And it was kind of interesting because I guess apparently she got some of her belongings and even some stuff that didn't actually belong to her in a trash bag. And almost kind of seemingly coming to the defense of the company, just saying, well, because this is something that kind of happens on a regular basis, that it is what it is type of a thing. And it's, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that philosophy. Cause like for me, like just the symbolism of it, it's like, here, we just let you go. Now here's the rest of what you had here with us in a trash bag. This is what we think of you. Here's your stuff in a trash bag. For me, just like the symbolism of it is just really, really negative. And, it is what it is. I'm sure other people have different opinions on it, but for me, just, I said it very openly that the optics and everything are just really, really bad. When you're letting somebody go, just put it in a box and send it to them. Like, why throw it in specifically a black garbage bag with your name on a piece of tape on it? Like, it's just, it's for me, it's just a slap in the face.
Water damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If it's just sitting there in a box,
but just use
water damage, now all of your gear is shit because it's been water damaged. Yeah. You have it in a plastic bag. Yeah. And you need a large plastic bag. You can't just go to your local A&P store and pick up holy crap, I just dated myself there.
A&P.
Wow. You can't just go to your local 7-Eleven and get a carry-out bag from 7-Eleven that's plastic and throw everybody's gear into that to protect it a little bit. A garbage bag is big enough to protect everything. Yeah. I mean, not that I'm defending it, because yes, the optics to it definitely show almost an air of disrespect. Personally, that's how I feel. But to Renee Young's point as well, she's kind of saying, it is what it is. It happens. Yeah. It's been happening for the last 20 years. We're now making a stink about this. Okay, you said your piece. Yeah. Just let it go.
Just leave it alone.
Because it is what it is. Why do you need to continue to be upset and pissed off over this? How much of an impact on your life has a garbage bag with your gear come in it had on your life? Has it really impacted you to the point where you are dead? Yeah. Where you are in the ground 6 feet under because your stuff came to you in a garbage bag? Maybe they're trying to protect your stuff from water damage. I don't know. Just a different way to look at it and see it.
Because I guess it all kind of hinges on, Karl, is this done with the intent to kind of be disrespectful? And you'd have to prove that, right? Now, I mean, that's right. You can use other bags other than garbage bags. I mean, you can get big Ziploc bags, or you can. There are other bags to use other than garbage bags. But having said that, and also to play devil advocate just a little bit, just because something has been done for a long time doesn't necessarily mean that it's okay. It's been done for a long time and people have just accepted it. But if it is actually something that's bad, why are we still defending it at this point, right? That's kind of it's like, say if you're working in a really crappy workplace and there's just something consistently bad that's been going on constantly, and people are just like, oh, it's okay because it's always just kind of happened. That doesn't necessarily make it right. That's where I'm coming from.
True. I get that. I understand that. Question for you. Where on God's green earth are you finding a Ziploc bag the size of a garbage bag? Like, Costco doesn't even have that shit.
Wrap it up in a tarp. Wrap it up in clear plastic. Why does it have to be a black garbage bag?
Because it's large. Because it will hold.
Throw it in a burlap sack. Even that would be better.
A burlap sack is going to cost you a lot more than a box of garbage bags.
Just a box. Just a box.
And then it all goes to shit and gets damaged because you know how shipping is. You know how things get damaged in shipping. You know how they're just tossed around without care or concern of whatever is in the damn box. I don't know. I think it's time that everybody just moves on from this. Sure, it happened. We get it. Yeah. It was brought to light. Thank you for bringing that to light. Now we will look at possibly changing how we're doing things and do it a little bit differently because somebody got upset over it. Understood. Thank you very much for your time. Move on. Move on.
And there we go.
Does this really need to consume your life? No, it doesn't.
And there we go. On Turnbuckle Talk, we've literally spent the majority of a segment talking about trash bags.
Garbage bags.
Garbage bags.
Yep.
What do you got for breaking news, man? Do you have anything on the docket for yourself?
I definitely do.
Okay,
so this is actually super exciting right now. It has absolutely nothing to do with professional wrestling, but I am excited about this, okay?
There you go.
Because of the pandemic, quote unquote pandemic that's been going on, we are going to be hopefully soon getting a new album from a band that has already written, to what they have said, 10 songs. I'm really hoping that soon we get a brand new Metallica album. I know Mighty Joe was probably hoping for Slipknot.
I was hoping for like Weird Al Yankovic or something.
Oh, no, Metallica, man. Metallica.
A new Weird Al album. Man. Come on, man. That would be awesome.
I mean, it could be, but yeah, I mean, Metallica, they say that they've actually written more than 10 songs.
Interesting.
That's an album right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. I think it's been since 2016 since we've really gotten, minus S&M 2.
Yeah.
That we've really gotten an album from Metallica.
Death Magnetic was the last. No, it was... no, there was another
Hardwired.
One. Yeah, Hardwired,
yeah.
Death Magnetic, I think, was really underrated. I enjoyed the hell out of that one. But,
I did too, to be honest. I've enjoyed everything from Metallica, to be honest with you. But yeah, like, I really don't have very much more for breaking news when it comes to, Weird Al, it definitely would be cool.
Just say it.
It definitely would be.
Yeah.
Would I be getting this excited about a Weird Al Yankovic album? No, probably not.
Oh man, it'd be great though because there's so much new topical stuff that he could riff off of. I think it's a Weird Al. If you for whatever weird reason you end up watching this, yeah, I would love some new music because
that's.
I mean, like Amish Paradise and that kind of stuff. Man, that's such classic. Living in the Fridge. I mean, come on.
I've talked so much that I need a drink of our non-sponsored Dr. Pepper.
There you go. All right, man. Let us get to our match of the week. All right, so for match of the week segment here, the great debate. Who goes first?
Go ahead, because I can guarantee you do not have this matchup as your match of the week.
Well, because this has happened before, like where I've gone like completely out of left field, and you actually ended up picking the same thing. So we'll see. This would be really weird if it would happen, but my match of the week is coming from the most recent episode of MLW Fusion.
Okay.
And we're talking about the match for the middleweight championship between Lio Rush and Myron Reed. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, the second time. And great, absolutely fantastic matchup. Myron Reed actually winning that championship. If memory serves me correctly, without doing the actual research, which I probably should have, I believe that is the first time that somebody has won a championship twice for this company.
I think so.
I believe that they said that on there, which is a really cool accomplishment. So congratulations to Myron Reed. And this one is actually double pronged because not only was this a really, really good match, but because this was at the end of the show, it was actually followed by something really cool too. They have been teasing the hell out of basically a return for Lucha Underground, what they're calling Azteca Underground. It was Dario Cueto there, and they've been doing these segments at the end of the show. July 10th is what they've been saying for a return, or at least a show. Now, whether it's going to be under the MLW umbrella, or if it's essentially like what the deal is, the whole relationship, because I mean they've been promoting it a lot on here, which is great. I mean it's months ahead of the time. I like that. I like the long-term build here. Interesting. Very interested to see how this pans out. So not only a great match, but followed by a great segment to kind of hook and create some investment. Well done for MLW and Aztec Underground.
I honestly love what they've been doing with Selena Del Renta, with this entire Aztec Underground that's been going on.
Yep.
When they put the burlap sack that Mighty Joe thinks everybody's gear should be sent in, when they put that over her head and threw her into the vehicle, and then you get to the point where you see a familiar setting of that dark room, and you see that desk that's there, and then you hear that voice, and you're like, "Oh my god, really, really?" And then
it's interesting.
And then just that movement forward, into the light, and you see, and you're like, I marked out hard, dude. I was like, holy crap, this is freaking amazing. I almost swore. I almost said the F word. I was like, this is freaking amazing.
It's like he's hinting at, he's making a new temple. And I mean, dude, that especially that initial, especially the first season. The first season of Lucha Underground, that was a genuine sensation. It was wrestling presented in a very unique way, with these really heavily produced Tarantino-esque kind of segments and whatnot. A really interesting feel, and they really kind of embraced the fact that it's a show.
Yes.
Right? It's completely in the opposite direction of like an MLW or which is interesting that because they're partnered with MLW seemingly in New Japan, where they really go with the sports like presentation. With Aztec Underground, or what was Lucha Underground, they went completely in the other direction to where this is like heavily storyline based stuff going on here. So interesting. I'm interested to see what becomes of it all.
It definitely is.
What do you got?
My match of the week is coming from the latest episode of OVW television. We are talking the Curtain Jerker matchup, which was absolutely fantastic. For those of you that don't know, OVW has their own heavyweight championship, which looks absolutely gorgeous. I love that championship belt. But at the last, I guess one of their big shows, pay-per-view, there was some controversy that happened surrounding the matchup. So Al Snow had come out last week and had said that this week we were going to get a matchup to determine the rightful winner of the OVW championship. So my match of the week is going to Omar Amir versus Cash Flow.
Nice. To
start out the show for that OVW championship. I'm not going to give any spoilers. You can find it on YouTube. I strongly suggest you go and watch it. Yeah. It was great. Yeah.
Omar's
you want to know who the winner is? Want to know who the winner is?
Go watch.
Go and watch it.
Yeah, go and watch it. Yeah, Omar's a star in the
yeah.
He's going to be somebody of significance, whether like if OVW really blows up into like a full-fledged like huge promotion, or where if he decides to go anywhere else, that dude's going to be a star.
I guess a little bit of breaking news that we can give. As I heard on that latest episode of OVW television, OVW is kind of opening up shop in Kentucky. So they're actually there is a Kentucky championship title that they're bringing in. It doesn't look the greatest, but it's a Kentucky championship title. No, it does not have any fried chicken on it. Okay, all you fat boys out there. No,
that would have won me over. Yeah.
Right? But they're doing a 32-man tournament for that championship.
Nice.
Go to ovwwrestling.com. You can see the brackets there of all the competitors that are involved with this matchup. And I think if you're quick enough with it, you might even be able to, if you're in the United States, get in on a little draft pool, I guess, that's really happening. If you can guess or be the closest to completing those brackets down to the final winner of the entire tournament. You're going to win $2,500.
Wow.
So,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Very cool.
Go and check it out. OVWwrestling.com. OVWwrestling.com.
Well, you know what, Karl? Before we get to our Showstopper segment, since we were just talking about some OVW, we got to play our little advertisement for OVW. Let us hear from these guys, and then we'll be right back to do our Showstopper segment for this week.
Hi, my name's Barry Radcliffe. You might recognize me from such films as The Longest Ride or Dead 2. Now, as a successful actor, I have 2 planes, a supermodel wife, countless exotic cars, and a ton of cash. You might think it couldn't get any better than this, but you'd be wrong. For only $4.99, you could get OVWWrestlingNetwork.com. That's OVWWrestlingNetwork.com for only $4.99. Now, will your life be as good as this? No. Will it be better? Yes, and I guarantee that. That's not valid anywhere. OVWWrestlingNetwork.com is only $4.99. Tomorrow's yesterday is today. Prices so low, they're insane. What? Bang for your butt? Well, so do I. At OVWWrestlingNetwork.com, it's only $4.99 a month. In between excitement, me too. OVWWrestlingNetwork.com is only $4.99 a month. You get that incredible value. She cost me $17 million, and I loved it. Want a real value? OVWWrestlingNetwork.com. It's only $4.99. That's a price so low. Well, it's insane.
So there we go from our friends over at OVW. And in case you missed it, for $4.99 a month, you can subscribe to some of the best professional wrestling around. For that price, you cannot go wrong at all. Absolutely fantastic.
And if you guys are in Canada, download the Fight.tv app on whatever streaming service you have. Like if you got a Roku, it's available on there. Or go to Fight.tv, FITE.tv. You can subscribe to OVW right there, as well as NWA is available on Fight.tv. So go and subscribe to those using the Fight.tv app, which you can get on your mobile phone, you can get on your tablet, you can get on a smart television. It's all there. It's all there. And you will have access to some of the greatest professional wrestling today right at your fingertips.
Absolutely, man. All right, let us get to our Showstopper segment. All right, so for our Showstopper segment this week, I thought we would touch on a pretty cool one here. A relatively simple one, I guess, but as soon as I saw this, I believe it may have been on WWE's website. I think a lot of the places kind of picked it up here. And it was just them saying, essentially, if you could change the outcome of a famous historical match that's happened, and this doesn't necessarily have to be limited to just WWE, but I have a feeling it likely will come from that because a lot of our favorite historical matches are just from WWE. It's just kind of the nature of the beast here.
Yeah.
What would that be and what change we would make? Now, for me, like this one was like an immediate choice. But
really?
Yeah, it was an immediate choice. I knew exactly which one. So I guess now we just have to decide. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
If it was immediate for you, go ahead.
Immediate. And so we're going to WrestleMania 30. We're talking The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. For me, still, and I have stated this before, it's been a topic on the show before, I think more than a few times at this point, that I really felt that The Undertaker's streak should have stayed intact. And even Vince himself, I believe it was on the Stone Cold podcast or show when it was like a WWE exclusive thing. He actually sat down with Vince and they talked about this topic. And Vince said that it was... Contrary to popular belief, The Undertaker didn't make the choice. And this was Vince making this call in an effort to put Brock over at this point. But for me, Brock was already over at this point. He always was and still is at this point. Even though he's not with the company, he would be an instant draw if he decides to come back at any point. So I felt that, and maybe it was, I don't know exactly everything that went behind the scenes there, but I think that it should have stayed intact here. That I think Brock was already over, that you didn't have to sacrifice the streak to try and put him over more. For me, just say I would have rather have seen that be, like Ric Flair's World Championship, the number of reigns, that's remained untouched. The Undertaker streak should have been something that remained untouched for his entire career. And so that's what I would have changed. I would have had The Undertaker win over Brock Lesnar. For me, and when I saw this, that was my immediate pick, my immediate reaction.
Interesting.
Yeah. Would you agree with that, or would you have still done it the same?
No, I think I agree. I definitely would have kept the streak intact.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because it's so legendary, man. Like when you actually look, like when you Google it or Wikipedia, the actual streak, and you see like all the individuals. I mean, it's a who's who of not only WWE but professional wrestling, right? So to have just look at that and see it completely untainted. Maybe not untainted is the right word, but just untouched, I think would have been the right move. But can't change history. But if I were to be able to change history, to go back to the future or to go back to the past, that's one big one. That's the main one I would go back and change.
Yeah. No, I totally, I agree.
What do you got?
I agree. I'm going back over 30 years here.
That's how old we are, people. Over 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah, over 30 years. The Body Slam heard around the world. Okay. The company would have gone in a very different direction had Andre the Giant decided that Hulk Hogan was not going over in this matchup, and that Andre the Giant would have actually won and been given that Andre 86 title that has become so famous now for never really being produced or brought onto television. I think the landscape of the WWE, WW World Wrestling Federation, because I don't want to get in trouble for saying those other three letters, it would have really drastically been changed and very, very different. As much as it pains me to say, I don't think that we would have a WWE like we have today if that had changed, if that had been different.
Yeah.
I don't think, and it's not a bad thing. I don't think that we would have as much of the entertainment that we have now today. I think we would still have a lot more professional wrestling had Andre the Giant decided that he was going over in that matchup and did not have Hulk Hogan body slam him to win that match. I think I would have liked it maybe to have gone that way. There could have been a different way that we could have maybe brought Hulk Hogan in, and not necessarily in, but brought him to a higher standard. But yeah, for me, I wish that would have gone differently.
It's an interesting topic because we could literally have an entire episode on this topic, and we have with our Turnbuckle Rewind show. In fact, it was our very first episode. And unlike the Undertaker and Brock Lesnar situation, this was Andre's call to make. Which, again, if you watch the HBO documentary of Andre the Giant, absolutely fantastic. Again, just to give them a plug on that. An absolutely amazing scenario. The fact that going into the match, even the people behind the scenes didn't know. Andre was the one that knew what was going to go on here. And I think that, and I'm torn on this, being a French-Canadian descent at that point in history, not just in professional wrestling, just in life, Andre was almost like a religious figure to French Canadians and French people at that point. And I'm not overstating that fact. Andre was like God.
There were statues erected of Andre the Giant.
Right? So,
yeah.
But I also think that Andre knew that having Hulk Hogan be the guy, to be the man, was the right move for the business going forward. It led to the whole popularity of it all. I think that, and nothing against Andre, because I don't like to say anything negative about Andre the Giant whatsoever. Still, one of my absolute favorites of all time. Maybe like right below Piper. But for the popularity of the business, the move was to put it on Hulk Hogan. As much as I am not a Hulk Hogan fan, it was the right move to go forward. if it would have gone the other way, just like, and again, like you were trying to think about it, and I'm trying to think like what direction would not only the company, but would wrestling have gone from that point, especially in North America. We can only speculate.
Right.
It's interesting to think about it. And that's something that I would really have to sit down and really, really kind of think. And it is something we can maybe explore in a future Showstopper segment. What would have happened had Andre won in that scenario? It's interesting, man. It's interesting.
It definitely is. We have our watchers, listeners, and fans interacting with us as well. God, I love being able to say that. Matt coming in here. How about the Montreal screw job? I feel that match definitely could have gone differently. I'm going to weigh in super quick on this, and then I'll let you, Mighty Joe, weigh in on this. For myself, personally, I don't think that it really would have changed very much. I think the only thing that we really would have seen is that Bret Hart won, and then went to Monday Night Raw, relinquished the championship, and then left. I think that that's really the only thing. And then we would have had a tournament to have another champion, and Shawn Michaels would have won that tournament. Yep. Personally, I think that that's really the only thing that that would have come out of that situation being a little bit differently. Mighty Joe, what about you? Answer to Matt's question.
Still to this day, this is still one of the hottest topics you can talk about.
Oh,
on wrestling podcasts, or just talking to other people about wrestling, it's still something that it still ranks right near the top.
Yeah.
It's interesting because there's still a lot of varying viewpoints on this. I mean, if you watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode, I believe it was Scott Hall who thinks that this was part of what was supposed to happen. I mean, Brett should have known that the sharpshooter was going to happen, and that was going to end them. It just, dude, I mean, there's still Earl Hebner's involvement. I mean, there's a lot of layers and a lot going on with the Montreal screw job and everything kind of surrounding it. Will we ever know 100% of everything that transpired? No. And bit of a controversial take on this, potentially. I think it should stay that way, for the fact that not only does it give us something to talk about and speculate about, but it helps still to keep some of the mystique of the business alive, because we know so much about it, then so much of it gets exposed that we need to keep a bit of the mystique there. And this is something that, we already know maybe a little too much. I don't want to know too much about it, because that's one of those things that still keeps some of the stuff somewhat interesting, is not always knowing everything. And the Montreal screw job is one of those things.
Definitely.
So there we go, man. A great topic. And I do want to explore the Andre the Giant situation again. Maybe not next week, but at some point when I really can sit down and really think about it, because it's a really, really interesting scenario to know what could have potentially happened there. Because it's... you and I are both big Andre fans, and it would be interesting to see.
It definitely would be.
All right, man. Well, before we wrap here for this week, I'll make sure and give you an opportunity to plug our wonderful sponsors.
Of course, we will start off with Phoenix at fnxfit.com. If you're into health food supplements and workout gear, go and check out our friends at fnxfit.com. Make sure that you're using our promo code TBTalkPod, where you're going to get 15% off your entire order. And we don't want to forget about our friends over at Collar and Elbow Brand. Yes, we have talked about them, and we will continue to talk about them all the time. Check out our friends at collarandelbowbrand.com. Make sure you use our promo code JKPodcast at the checkout. You're going to get 10% off your entire purchase, whether that is brand new or clearanced merchandise, one thing or 10 things. You're going to get 10% off that entire purchase. So go and check them out, collarandelbowbrand.com.
And for Turnbuckle Rewind this week, coming over our friends over at Love Wrestling, Karl and I have a really interesting one coming up for this week, this coming Wednesday. Just to make everybody aware that we come in on Wednesday, that's going to be our new normal time slot. We're going back to 2002 with NWA/TNA. Listen to this. AJ Styles versus Loki versus Jerry Lynn versus Psychosis for, I believe it was for originally called the X Championship. Dude, like I have never seen this match yet. And looking forward to talking about it. I'm actually going to probably watch it just before we record this baby, because I want to be going into it fresh with a fresh take on it. I'm excited to talk about it, and I know that people are going to want to tune in this one. It's going to be fun.
Oh yeah. It is going to be super fun. Just the names alone that are in there. I mean, AJ Styles, I've seen him wrestle live. Low Key, I've seen him wrestle live. Psychosis, I've met and seen him wrestle live. Christopher Daniels, I have seen wrestle live on the Chris Jericho cruise. Absolutely fantastic. I've seen all four of these men at different points of their careers in action, and now to see them all together at once for the X Championship, this is going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we will see you guys on the next one.
It's me. It's an honor to be the beat. As you can tell in the background, we are out celebrating. That is what we do here at hittingthemarks.com. And I invite everyone to continue to tune in to Turnbuckle Talk, but check out all our other shows. We have weekly content, especially lit up by the flagship show. You can find that all at hittingthemarks.com.
Run.